What if I told you that on this 5th of July, the Dallas Cowboys might be quietly preparing a hidden ace up their sleeve? Imagine a former All-Pro, a former Defensive Player of the Year, a lockdown cornerback who once proudly wore the star on his helmet and could soon be ready to return to Dallas if the right circumstances align. This isn't just some wild speculation or wishful thinking. The information I've come across connects directly to some subtle but meaningful developments that have been unfolding over the past few months, moves that most fans may have missed, but which, when viewed together, reveal a bigger strategy. The Cowboys are clearly stacking the deck with contingency plans, positioning themselves to be prepared for every possible scenario as they aim for a deeper postseason run. Let's dig into the details. Before we unpack this latest intel, it's important to revisit some recent comments made by Stephon Gilmore comments that might just be the first real clue pointing toward this possible reunion. The details come from a source with a track record of accuracy inside the Cowboys circle. This source has predicted team decisions well before they became public knowledge, and now they're hinting at something significant on the horizon. Let's focus on Gilmore and listen carefully to what he shared in a recent podcast interview. When asked about his plans for the upcoming season, his answer wasn't just a standard "I want to play" response. Instead, it carried a lot of meaning beneath the surface. Gilmore said, "I want to play this year, but it has to be the right situation. I'm not just signing anywhere. I still love the game, and I believe I can contribute, but it has to be the right place." This isn't just veteran talk or empty words. It's a deliberate, calculated message from a seasoned player who knows his worth and understands exactly what kind of environment he wants to be part of. And as you start connecting the dots, one team naturally begins to stand out: Dallas. Over the last few months, Gilmore has been spotted multiple times in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. One confirmed sighting was in March at Lake Dallas High School in Corinth, Texas, just about 35 miles north of a T&T stadium. Coincidence? Maybe. But when a former Cowboy is in town during the most critical stretch of the NFL offseason and openly talks about wanting the right situation, it's fair to ask, is a reunion in the works? According to sources close to the team, conversations have indeed taken place. It's not just a rumor, it's something that's quietly on the radar. The idea of Gilmore coming back to Dallas isn't just a fantasy, it's been discussed behind closed doors. Rewind a few months to the NFL draft period, when Gilmore was also spotted at the Star in Frisco. At the time, reports tried to downplay the visit, claiming he was just picking up old gear or visiting friends, and nothing contract-related was happening. But let's be honest, that explanation never fully added up. Was it just a friendly visit? Possibly. But when you put together the timing and the broader context, the possibility of something bigger begins to look a lot more plausible. Now, there's no official offer on the table, at least not yet. The door isn't closed though, and here's why the Cowboys might still want Gilmore back. It all comes down to health. The Cowboys are carefully monitoring their cornerback room, and there are some key questions surrounding the health of their young players. Trayvon Diggs is still recovering from injury. Savion Redden, who some have misreported as Revel, has had setbacks. Colleen Carter, another promising corner, has also been battling injuries this offseason and even had to step away from practice for a while. Then there's Josh Butler, a young corner whose health could play a role in Dallas's decision-making. So what's the Cowboys' strategy? It's simple and smart. They're exercising patience, keeping a close eye on all these players, and ensuring they have veteran options ready just in case. That's where Gilmore comes into play. He's a known, trusted veteran with championship experience. If injuries pile up, or if some rehab setbacks slow down the younger corners, Dallas won't have to scramble to find a replacement from scratch. They'll already have a proven, reliable defender waiting in the wings. Meanwhile, Trevon Diggs himself has been making encouraging progress. Recent footage shows him shadowing receivers tightly in practice, even getting sharp reps against guys like Elijah Moore. His movements appear smoother, his breaks quicker, he's trending in the right direction. But the Cowboys know better than to place all their bets on the best-case scenario. They're preparing for anything that might come their way. While Diggs is making visible strides cutting, accelerating, and shadowing receivers again, the Cowboys are still waiting on full medical evaluations for their entire defensive backfield. That includes not just Diggs, but also Kalen Carter, Josh Butler, Stephon Redden, and even Marcellus Wiley, who has been dealing with lingering injuries of his own. The bottom line is this: if even one or two of these players aren't going to be fully ready by the start of the season or close enough to it, Dallas may have to act quickly. That's where Stephon Gilmore comes back into the equation. This isn't breaking news. Nothing has been made official yet, but according to someone with direct knowledge inside the Cowboys organization, there's been talk of a soft agreement between Gilmore and the team. Think of it as a handshake deal or an understanding that if the situation calls for it, Gilmore could join the roster later in the offseason, possibly during the heart of training camp. Why the delay? It allows Gilmore to spend some time with his family before jumping back into football, and it also gives Dallas the necessary time to evaluate their young cornerbacks before deciding whether a veteran presence is truly needed. Gilmore has made it clear that he's not looking to sign just to fill a roster spot or chase another ring. He's searching for the right fit, the right culture, and the right place to finish his career on his own terms. And if Dallas ends up needing him, it's a move that makes perfect sense for both parties. For Gilmore, this decision isn't solely about football. It's also about where he wants to live, where he wants to settle his family, and how he wants to close out what's already been a decorated NFL career. From the Cowboys' perspective, they're treating Gilmore like a premium option on hold, kind of like a veteran layaway plan. If the cornerback depth isn't sufficient when training camp ends, or if injuries linger, Dallas could bring Gilmore back on a one-year flyer. He'd bring leadership, experience, and instant credibility to a young secondary still finding its footing. And honestly, this move wouldn't come out of nowhere. Remember, Gilmore was at the Star months ago, right when conversations were likely happening behind the scenes. While many brushed off that visit as casual, the timing now seems far more significant given the team's evolving needs. The league whispers that Gilmore is still open to playing, but only if it's for the right team with the right culture and environment. And if you know his story, Dallas checks all those boxes. Gilmore has spent plenty of time in Texas during the offseason, grew up a Cowboys fan, and understands the significance of this franchise. Beyond the football, Dallas offers perks like no state income tax and a national spotlight. If Gilmore does return, even for just one more season, he won't be seen as a temporary fix. He'll be embraced as a respected veteran, a leader, and truly a Cowboy for life. Whether or not this deal ever happens, the interest is very real. The opportunity is sitting there right now. It's simply a matter of timing. Everything seems to be pointing toward a potential Stephon Gilmore return to Dallas. The pieces are all in place, but the final call depends on one thing: availability within the Cowboys secondary. Once the team gets full medical evaluations on players like Trevon Diggs, Kalen Carter, Stephon Redden, Josh Butler, and others, the picture will become clearer. If even one of those names isn't ready to go or suffers a setback, expect Dallas to pull the trigger, and Gilmore's name will be at the top of that conversation. From all indications, This situation feels like a quiet understanding, a low-key plan waiting to be activated if needed. No flashy headlines, no media blitz, just a strategic move lying in wait. Again, this isn't confirmed news, but if you start hearing whispers that some of the defensive backs aren't ready for the season opener, don't be surprised if Gilmore is the answer. This wouldn't just be a signing, it would be a statement. A proven veteran, returning to a franchise poised to contend. A defense gaining stability and veteran wisdom right when it matters most. Because when it comes to being them boys, Dallas is still them boys.